There's something beautiful about someone who has been through hell and back, whose soul bears the etchings of pain, but their spirit remains unbroken. Their scars tell tales of battles fought and won. They are living testaments to resilience and strength. Life is not a fairy tale where bad things happen to bad people and everything eventually gets better. We don't get that memo until we've already lived a lot of it. Sometimes the hardest parts of our stories aren't chapters, they're paragraphs. Little did we know those paragraphs would turn into chapters and those chapters would become a book. And scars, well, they're like little reminders of those turning points, moments when we could have folded but didn't. In fact, every scar tells a story of survival, of endurance, of a will to live, to love, to hope again. But it's up to us whether these stories are seen as burdens or blessings, flaws or fortunes. So let's flip the script today. Let's talk about how pain isn't just part of your story, it is the story. Welcome to this channel, where we believe pain doesn't define you, but it can refine you. If you're new here and you want to learn more about mental health and personal growth, consider subscribing. In our narrative, scars become the stain, the thing we try to erase from the polished surface of our lives. Maybe it's a physical mark left by an accident, an illness, an emotional wound, the aftermath of a relationship gone wrong, the fallout of childhood trauma, the residue of grief, the leftover echoes of abuse, the lingering impact of neglect, or the fading memory of an event that threatened to break us. We do our best to conceal these scars, to minimize them, to put on a brave face, and convince ourselves that we're fine when we're anything but. Truth be told, we all wear invisible scars, emotional landscapes marked by experiences that have shaped us. You might see the bandage, the splint, the sling, the cane, the wheelchair, the prosthetic limb, the medication, the therapy, but beneath those, there's a story. Sometimes all we can see is the covering, not realizing there's a warrior underneath. Beneath those crutches, you are stronger than the thing that broke you. Beneath those bandages, you are more resilient than the wound. Beneath those slings, you are braver than the injury. Beneath those canes, you are more determined than the illness. Beneath those splints, you are more hopeful than the pain. Beneath those prosthetics, you are more adaptive than the loss. Beneath those medications, you are more tenacious than the depression. Beneath those therapies, you are more courageous than the trauma. Beneath those scars, you are more powerful than the brokenness. You didn't get here untouched. No one does. The pain you carry, the nights you thought would never end, they weren't detours. They were the way through. Pain isn't just a part of your story. It is the story. The version of you standing here today is not here in spite of what happened. You're here because of it. You didn't get here despite the ache in your bones, the hollow in your chest, the hollowness in your heart, the lump in your throat, the burn in your eyes. You got here because of it. You wouldn't trade it because of it. You are not here in spite of the scars that mar your body, mind, and soul. You're here because of them. We tend to think of scars as blemishes on our journey, moments we wish we could forget. But what if we flip that perspective? What if instead of seeing our scars as marks of struggle, we saw them as symbols of survival? After all, a scar is nothing more than proof that something tried to destroy you and failed. Think about it. A scar is born out of damage, a wound inflicted by an outside force. It's the body's response to repair itself against all odds, to heal and adapt, to keep going even after being torn, ripped, burned, battered, and bruised. It's a reminder that you once faced adversity head-on and came out stronger on the other side. Our scars, whether physical or emotional, are not flaws. They're accomplishments. They tell a story of resilience, a testament to the human spirit's ability to overcome the toughest challenges. Each line, each mark becomes a badge of honor, a symbol of our capacity to endure and adapt. Every scar tells a story of survival, of endurance, of a will to live, to love, to hope again. When we stop running from our scars and start embracing them, we transform our narratives. Instead of seeing our stories as marred by pain, we can view them as enriched by it. Our scars become threads in the grand tapestry of our lives, making the fabric of our story more vibrant, more resilient and more real. We've all heard the saying, "What doesn't kill you makes you stronger." But it's important to remember that what doesn't kill you also shapes you, defines you, molds you, and refines you. When we focus on the shaping aspect, it helps us realize that pain isn't just something we endure. It's something we grow from. The pain we've experienced hasn't diminished us. It's refined us. It's sculpted us into the strong, resilient individuals we are today. As author Mark Nepo wisely said, pain is the universal language. When we share our pain, our disconnectedness melts away and we become more intimate with life. This sentiment resonates deeply with me. Sharing our pain, our scars, our struggles, paradoxically, brings us closer to ourselves, to others, and to life. It's in our shared vulnerabilities that we find connection, understanding, and empathy. Our scars become the common threads that bind us together, reminding us that we're not alone in our struggles. The most important thing to remember is that you are not defined by your scars, but you can choose to be inspired by them. Your story, your pain, your scars, they're not weaknesses. They're strengths. They're not burdens. They're motivations. They're not flaws. They're assets. You are a work in progress, a masterpiece being painted one stroke at a time. And every scar tells the world you are not easily broken. It's easy to feel ashamed of our scars, both physical and emotional. They serve as constant reminders of our pain, our suffering, our battles. But here's the truth. These scars didn't come from weakness. They came from strength. It took strength to endure what you did, to pick yourself up when you felt like giving up. It took strength to survive. It took strength to keep going. Imagine this. You're a sculptor and you have a block of marble. With every strike of the hammer, every chip of the chisel, you're revealing the sculpture within. Sometimes you make mistakes, you chip too deeply, you misjudge a curve, you leave a mark. But those marks, those imperfections, they don't diminish the statue. They become part of its story, its character. And when the sculpture is complete and it stands in the sun, those imperfections, far from being blemishes, become unique selling points, conversation pieces, elements that add depth and intrigue to the artwork. In the same way, your struggles, your scars, they're not flaws. They're features. They're part of your story, your character. They're what make you, you. When you embrace your scars, you embrace your wholeness, your authenticity, your uniqueness. And that, my friend, is true power. We all have scars, some visible, some invisible. Some we can talk about, some we can't. But no matter what they look like, where they are, or how much we want to hide them, our scars are a part of us. They're part of our story. And our story, our scars, they're not a burden, they're a blessing. Don't be afraid to show off your scars. Don't be afraid to talk about your pain. Don't be afraid to embrace your story. Because in your story, there is power. There is beauty. There is hope. So let your scars tell their tale. Let them be a reminder of how far you've come, of how much you've endured, of how strong you are. Let them be a beacon of light, guiding you towards a future filled with healing, growth, and self-acceptance. Stop wishing it didn't happen. Stop apologizing for your strength. Stop trying to go back to who you were before it all fell apart. That version of you was never meant to last. You were always supposed to become this, because pain isn't just trauma, pain is blueprint, and scars are the map. If you found this video helpful, please hit the like button and share it with someone who needs to hear this message. Your support means the world to us. Thanks for watching.